Going back to June 5th, 2002, then 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart vanished after being taken by knife point in her bedroom. 9 months later, on March 12, 2003, the unexpected, the miraculous, she was spotted and she was rescued, and her two kidnappers were arrested, convicted, and sent to prison. Father of Elizabeth Smart, Ed Smart, joins me. Nice to see you, Ed. And I suppose there are very few in this country that have walked the shoes of the Guthrie family and you. One is too many, but boy, I remember watching you day after day after day, talking to the press. Do you have any sort of guidance or thoughts for the Guthrie family trying to deal with this?
You know, I think they're doing the best that they can, which, staying hopeful and hoping that everything's being done that possibly can be. I know we worried to no end about what Elizabeth was going through, how she was surviving, and I'm sure that their family is going through that also. There is hope, though, and there is the potential that they will be reunited again. I think that's so important to keep that in the forefront of their lives right now. It's just, it's one of those unbelievable things.
I couldn't figure out back then how in the world you could have hope as the days, the months, everything went by. It was 9 months, and the chances of that child showing up alive was just, it was almost impossible. But you never gave up. Your family never gave up.
I had this feeling that Elizabeth was still out there. And, certainly there were difficult times where I just thought, God, please just let this come to an end. But I still had that feeling that she was out there. And, it was a miracle that she came. And I certainly hope that that happens for the Guthrie family.
Well, the sheriff today talked about the media, and I don't know if you know this, you're probably so consumed with your own fear and grief and everything back then, but family members began to be, people got suspicious of you. I mean, that the other thing is on top of your child disappearing, being kidnapped, is there's also the media was very. I don't know how else better to to cover these stories, but it was we weren't helpful, we were painful.
Well, it was both. Without you, we couldn't keep Elizabeth's face out there. Yes, the family needs to be cleared right off the bat. Without that clearance, you can't move over. You can't move forward. It's like, one of those things that have to be checked off. So, we were willing to do whatever it took to clear ourselves, polygraphs, whether they were, gave the information they wanted to hear or not. I don't think there was anyone that held back. So I'm sure that the Guthries are trying to do everything that they can also to be clear, and it appears that that's the case.
Well, I was just trying to check to see where the two kidnappers were today of your daughter. Brian David Mitchell, he's still in prison, but Wanda Barzee, his wife, was released a number of years ago. She's out there someplace. That seems like such a minimal penalty for the cruelty inflicted on your daughter and on the family. She's out.
She is out. In fact, my younger daughter said she was in Costco during Christmas and saw Wanda there and immediately left. So, she is out there. I know she's violated her parole a couple of times, going to parks where she's forbidden to go, and of course, using the claim that God told her to go there, as both she and Brian always use that as a reason for whatever they wanted to do.
Where were you when you got the word 9 months later that Elizabeth was alive?
I was at home, and I had received a phone call from, my wife had received a phone call from the officer. The phone was given to me, and the detective I'd worked with during those 9 months said, "Ed, I need you to come out to the Sandy Police Department." So I headed out there, and, we had those calls of, we've found bones, we've found bodies, we've been on this emotional roller coaster, which you get to a point where you try to protect yourself from the craziness of the roller coaster you're on. And I felt that way as I was going out to the Sandy Police Department. I just thought, you know, I think I'm going to have to go identify Brian Mitchell. I didn't know that Elizabeth was going to be there. They didn't inform me. Certainly Lois would have gone with me. But as I got out there, I saw the officer that I'd worked with, and he said, Ed, we think we found Elizabeth. And that door opened, and there was this young woman, not the young girl that left 9 months earlier, but this young woman. And it was the happiest day of my life.
It must be extraordinary, and for her as well, and even actually for the rest of us who had watched this. And we didn't experience your pain, but I mean, even looking at the Guthrie family, your heart breaks for them or for any families in this situation. By the way, how is Elizabeth?
Elizabeth continues to be amazing. I just love her to pieces, and I'm so grateful that she was rescued and is living a wonderful life. 3 beautiful kids, a wonderful husband, and I believe that she's making a difference in a lot of lives. So it's.
Well, I sure hope that the Guthrie family, has the good fortune. I mean, it was extraordinary what happened to your family. And I do hope one other thing: if Wanda has violated her parole, where are those? I mean, she should be picked up. I mean, this is a good opportunity to go out and pick up Wanda, because she's violating her parole if it is as you say. Anyway, Ed Smart, always nice to see you. It's been a long time. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Greta. Take care.
Thank you. And authorities have released a tip line. It's on your screen. If you have any information that could help in this investigation, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also call the Pima County Sheriff's Office or 911. People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.